Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video. Today I'm very excited to bring you the Rupes HLR75 iBrid, meaning this thing is a battery powered Rupes polisher. I think something that all of the detailers worldwide have been asking for. I'm excited to share my thoughts and feelings with you on this tool because I've had it for about 6 weeks now and I am really loving it. We're gonna go through both of these kits, so just the tool and battery only, as well as the full kit. What's a better value? What do you want and need in this purchase? I'm also going to share with you one of the fatal flaws with this machine because it does have one. But this is the HLR75 for Rupes. Let's jump into it. It is no secret that I've been just a massive fan of Rupes polishers throughout my detailing career. I have actually only used these machines, and anytime you see a photo of me or a video of me, there's always a Rupes in my hand polishing on vehicles. So what does this tool replace? Well, this is the old LHR75E. This thing has been an absolute workhorse for me, and I absolutely love this machine. A 3-inch polisher, plenty of power, 12mm throw. It's just awesome, with one issue, this. If you guys know anything about detailing, cable management is the bane of my existence. Dealing with having multiple polishers going during a compounding or polishing session, you've got air lines running everywhere, you're tripping over stuff, it's getting caught on the tires, you're trying to lean over on the hood, you're just dealing with cables constantly. It is just a pain in the butt. So when Rupes announced that they were coming out with a 3-inch machine that was an iBrid with 2 batteries, I'm like, yes, please sign me up. And these are the 2 kits that you can get. So this is the kit. This retails at $405 right here. What do you get with that? So you get the actual machine, you get 2 batteries, a charger, and an included cable. These are just covers when you're not using the batteries, kind of nice to have. Now this over here is a $535 kit from Rupes, and in my opinion, save your money and spend $120 less for this. This is really not worth it in my opinion. It is nice, I will say, this little carrying case, super cool, but I don't know, really not worth the money. So what does it come with? Well, it's got this little diagram here, but mine didn't come with all that, so let's talk about that. So obviously we have the machine, we've got this that mine didn't come with. And I think this is kind of silly that Rupes did this. So this actually plugs into the back of the machine, which you can essentially just plug into a wall outlet. Save yourself $200 and just buy one of these if you're really worried about that. The whole point of this thing is to have batteries. So it comes with your charger, 2 batteries. It also comes with compound right here and polish right here. Mine did actually not come with Uno Pure or Uno Protect. It did come with all these microfiber cloths underneath this nice foam cutout, and it did come with a few pads. But for $120, I really don't think you need the case. Buy the pads and polishes that you want because most people don't use Rupes. I actually do. I like their stuff, but for just a few pads, really not a good value in my opinion. Let's focus on batteries because obviously that's the big thing with these. So these are an 18 volt, 2.5 amp hour battery. That may not mean a ton to you guys, but what it means is this tool can run about 35 to 45 minutes on one battery. So you plug this thing in, you've got about 35, 45 minutes, give or take. Now, if you guys know, when you're polishing a vehicle, you're not just hammering it straight for 45 minutes, right? You're polishing a little section, taking it off, checking your work. Now, the nice thing is, this charger right here, when plugged in, 30 minutes dead to full. So anytime, you always have power. I've been using this thing nonstop, replacing the old LH75E, and I have never had a battery that has been flat. Absolutely loving that, and that's exactly what we wanted. Now, what's really cool about these batteries is you always have this, a little diagram here with 4 dots showing how much power you actually have. These are all full charged. Again, 30 minutes dead to full. That is just awesome. Never waiting around for this thing. Now the tool itself is really different from the old one here. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter. When you put the battery, it comes into about here. Let me actually do that quickly. And these are pretty cool because they just slide right in. A really nice system here, really nicely weighted. and really, really like it. A little bit shorter, but again, not dealing with that cable. It is a lot taller. In a first initial, when you put this thing in your hands, it does feel kind of weird. Now, if you guys know, just from the videos, I detail one-handed, so I'm always polishing like this. This is how I have to go on here. Whereas this machine, because it has this on here, which actually stays on, I could kind of grab it here on the end, do whatever I need, go up here. So I'm a little bit more limited with this, but I gotta say, after using this for about 6 weeks, coming back to this feels very archaic, and I really, really like this. Now, one of the biggest negatives with this thing is the trigger system. So this is your only on and off switch, and you have to hold it on the whole time. There's no lock, there's no unlock to it, and that becomes an issue. Let me show you what I mean. So this has a nice integrated rubber handle here. You can flip it upside down. It's ready for you to add more compound and polish with a pad, of course. But what happens here? Because this trigger is so sensitive, let me show you this. So look how little you have to depress this to actually get it started. And it's instant. So a lot of guys that I've been seeing, and myself, go to do this. Now you got compound polish spraying absolutely everywhere. When you're sitting down, I found that you set this on your lap, on your leg quickly, and it just goes boop, immediately starts, and you've got stuff flying everywhere. That, in my opinion, is a huge oversight from Rupes. What I wish they would have here is some sort of locking mechanism to where you unlock it, press it down, and it starts to go. And then you can still be able to unlock it once you release it. I actually don't mind holding this down. This isn't very weighted, so over time I was like, ooh, I really don't know if I'm gonna like that, but it's actually super nice. Now, the other huge question I'm sure you guys are gonna ask, does this machine stack up against the old corded polisher? And I am happy to say 100% absolutely yes. This thing has a ton of power. This thing rips. So here on like the R1T, I'm gonna show you a little test section down here under this Rivian badge, but it's very concave, very tricky for polishers to keep rotating. They will still oscillate, but you can get pad stall, which means it's not doing the work it's intended to do. This thing though, goes right through it. Now, you have a little dial system here, which I don't really mind where this is placed. I think that was kind of the only place they could put it. Here on the old one, you have it back here. It's kind of one of those things that you set and just keep going. You're not really sitting here trying to polish, adjusting speed constantly, at least for myself. Now, what I've found so far is I keep this between 3 and 4, sometimes ramping up to 4, and if I get into a big concave area here, but I really rarely ever crank this bad boy up to 5. Really, really impressed with the power on this. We're gonna do some trial runs. One of the things I also love with this machine is usability. So if you can imagine, I do a lot of polishing up here on roofs, center of hoods, just taller areas. And if you're dealing with a cable, you're reaching over here, you've got a cable dangling, you've got to put it over your shoulder, trying not to scratch it on the paint, and that's not the case with this thing. This thing just feels so good in the hand. You can come up here and just move anywhere you want. And it's also a little bit more compact, I find, and it can get into different spaces that the other one didn't. But let's jump into some little polishing, and I'm gonna show you how awesome this thing is. So I've got a little test section set up here, and this is a little bit of a challenge for most machines actually, because you have a concave area here, and a flat surface here. So it really challenges that tool to get in there, still maintain rotation, and actually doing its work. Pad stall is the enemy of creating not only heat, but actually getting effective work done. You want to minimize the amount of time that you're actually polishing on vehicles and be effective with it. Now, again, this tool is set at 0, and this may be one of my things, but I think a lot of people are gonna struggle with this trigger system. I tend to hold this thing right here, and as you notice, this trigger is already, I can feel it being pressed. And it's just really frustrating, especially, you take the machine off, you hold it real quick, go to wipe down, and now you got polish spraying everywhere. It's so frustrating, and definitely cursed a few times doing that because it just gets annoying. Nonetheless, I am loving this machine. So I'm actually gonna start here on number 3 and see how it does on rotation. Hopefully you guys could see that, but as we came up into this area here, while it was using this concave area, it was actually stalling the pad a little bit. But keep in mind, we still have 2 more speeds. Let's bump this up to 4 and see how it feels. Massive difference there. Did not stall one bit. I really like the sound that this machine makes. It's not super loud. I actually find it to be quite a bit louder, or quite a bit quieter, I apologize, than the LHR75E. So I really, really like that. This thing also feels great in the hand. It's got a nice weighted grip on it. It just feels good. The ergonomics, they will take you a while to get used to, but I really like it. Again, the big thing here, I don't have a cable going everywhere. I can reach out here and not worry about this cable dangling all over the place. It is so, so much better. When Rupes finally comes out with a 15 mil and a 21, I'm gonna be one happy detailer. But let me take you down onto another big challenge on the side here. I'm gonna show you a little bit closer up of how this machine does in concave areas. I've had a lot of time to detail Rivians, and this area in particular can always be quite tricky for all machines to maintain that pad rotation. I again want to point this out. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but this is just the natural position to hold this machine in is right here. And as I can feel, that trigger already goes down. It's very cumbersome, and you don't want to set this thing on its side because then you're getting into the pad. Just a weird kind of oversight by Rupes. Nonetheless, let's jump in here. Let's start on 3.5. So that's dialed into 3.5 there and see how this polishes up. Now right there, I did give it a little bit more pressure than I normally would just to see how it reacted. It did still maintain rotation, but it was starting to slow down a little bit. Let's bump this up to 4 and see what that looks like. No problems yet again for the HLR75. Really impressed with the power of this. And you still have more to go, but you can actually hear and feel a noticeable power jump just between even 3, 3.5, and 4. So getting those settings dialed in is really nice, and I really am happy with this machine. Out of all the detailing tools that I've had this year, I gotta say, this is my new favorite machine. I think this wins a detailing tool of the year from Rupes because I just think this thing's great. Again, one huge massive flaw is this darn trigger system. There is no comfortable way to set this tool down without it actually going off. I actually literally off camera set this thing down and it started going. It was spraying polish and compound everywhere. It's just frustrating to deal with. Rupes, please fix this system. Come up with a different solution for this. It needs to change. Now you can set it like this if the tool's off, but getting this dialed in every time, not what any detailer does. We normally have it set, use it, turn it off, set it down, and this is normally how you have to set it down. Compromising the pad, putting flat spots in it, which can throw off rotation. Really don't like that. But I would say if you have 400 bucks, burning a hole in your pocket, you're looking for the latest, greatest technology, this is the stuff. Now, if you are a DIY guy going, do I buy one of these that's substantially cheaper or upgrade to one of these kind of pro level tools? I would say it kind of depends. If you're not going to be doing this all the time, stick with one of these. Say you're doing a project that you need a good polisher that's going to last you forever, maybe go to Harbor Freight, get a really cheap one. If you want something a little bit better, get one of these. And I think you could probably skip on this. I've used these machines for almost 9 years now and have had no issues, but having no cable on it, just the greatest thing. Rupes, please come out with a 15 and 21 iBrid. That would just be the stuff. You would have happy detailers worldwide. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.